5 fentanyl pills, a Valentine's Day sandwich, and a grief book written for her own kids about the husband she allegedly killed. This is not fiction. This happened in Utah, and the details, they get darker with every single layer. Welcome to Shadow Case Files. Let's get into it. Eric and Kouri Richins lived in Utah. Picture-perfect suburban life. 3 young boys, a nice home. From the outside, total American dream. But behind closed doors, this marriage was quietly falling apart. Kouri had been borrowing money from Eric, without his knowledge, forging his signature on financial documents. And here's where it gets heavy. She had taken out a $2 million life insurance policy on him. Eric had suspicions. Limit what Kouri would receive if he died. That detail matters. Remember it. February 2022, Valentine's Day, Kouri made Eric a Moscow mule and a sandwich. Romantic, right? Eric died that same night. He was 39 years old. The cause of death, fentanyl overdose, 5 times the lethal dose found in his system. Eric had 0 history of drug use, none. Investigators were immediately suspicious. But here's what made this case absolutely unreal. What Kouri did next. 3 months after Eric's death, Kouri published a children's grief book called Are You With Me? Written for her own sons, about losing their father, and she promoted it, went on TV, talked about grief, about loss, about moving forward. Now look, grief is real. People process loss in strange ways. I get that. But prosecutors argued this wasn't grief, this was a performance. Because while she was doing interviews about missing Eric, she was allegedly already planning her next chapter, including a relationship with her affair partner. Law enforcement had been quietly building their case. They traced fentanyl purchases, found a suspicious hydrocodone bottle that had gone missing, analyzed what investigators called the walk the dog letter, a document with some very incriminating details, and that question is now sitting in the jury's hands. Here's what makes this case genuinely fascinating from a forensic psychology standpoint. If the prosecution is correct, this was not a crime of passion. This was calculated, premeditated, layer-aid, the insurance policy, the forged documents, the Valentine's Day timing, the grief book. Each step suggests someone who understood how to construct a narrative, how to appear as a victim, while allegedly being the perpetrator. Criminologists call this organized offender behavior. The crime is controlled, the emotions are managed, the story is curated, and that, right there, is what makes this case so deeply unsettling. It's not the violence, it's the planning. As of right now, the Kouri Richins trial is in its final stages. The jury is deliberating. Eric Richins was 39 years old. He had 3 young sons. Whatever happened that Valentine's night, his boys grew up without their father. That's the part that should never get lost in the court drama and the headlines. This channel exists to make sure stories like Eric's don't just become content, they stay human.